Hi, I'm Erica, and I hope your week is off to a fantastic start. I'm thrilled that you're here, and if you're new to the Tea Minds, then welcome. This is a lovely, warm, cosy space where we pause for tea so that we can reconnect with ourselves, rebalance our mind, body, and spirit, and learn how to savour those precious moments before they slip away. In each episode, we explore how something as simple as a cup of tea can be a gateway to mindfulness, mental fitness, and learning to be more present in the way that we live. With inspiring tea routines, thought-provoking insights, and heartfelt conversations with amazing guests, this is your time to pause, rebalance, and thrive. Life is fast, but your tea doesn't have to be. So pop the kettle on, grab your favourite mug, and let's dive into the art of living with a tea mind. Welcome to the Tea Mind, a space for pausing, rebalancing, and thriving one mindful moment at a time. And today we're talking about a small word that holds immense power: no. Not as rejection, not as resistance, but rather as a quiet, courageous act of self-respect. So make yourself a cup of tea, perhaps choose one that grounds you like a nice oolong or a lovely calming herbal infusion. Settle in and let's explore what happens when we stop defaulting to yes and start choosing no with intention. So we live in a world that rewards the yes, saying yes to opportunity, yes to collaboration, yes to growth. Yes becomes a badge of honour, but too often we're saying yes when actually we maybe mean maybe or not now, or honestly might just be a straight up no. We say yes because we want to be helpful, we want to be liked, and we fear disappointing others. But there's a cost to that that's not often talked about. That chronic yes can lead to a quiet resentment. It can lead to a life shaped by obligation instead of intention. To burnout, dress up as being a team player. So I want to ask you something today. When was the last time you said yes, but you immediately felt it in your chest? Feeling that tension, that tightness, and that small and nagging voice inside your head whispering, that wasn't the right choice for you. That's the voice of no, and it deserves to be heard and listened to. I've got plenty of examples of this in my own life, but more recently it was saying yes to a meeting which was rather inconvenient. I wasn't going to be in town that day, and I wasn't sure it was completely relevant or useful, but I didn't want to be rude. And I ended up, just out of politeness, wasting most of my day, and I'd failed to set really clear boundaries and expectations around my time, so it took up too much time, and unsurprisingly, nothing came of it. However, I have learned to be much more clear with my time boundaries now. Thankfully, moments like that have become much more rare, but as a recovering people pleaser, I've got tons of examples when I've said yes to things that should really have been an automatic no. But it takes a little bit of courage to say no, especially when you've got the FOMO, fear of missing out. But when you know, if you pause and you listen to yourself, you really know it should be a no. So I want to suggest a little short tea routine that might help you reconnect with your own boundaries. And there are 5 simple steps to this. The first one, as always, is just checking in and being present. So as you start to prepare your tea, just taking some nice deep breaths in and out through your nose, gently scanning your mind, and just getting curious to what yeses you've given into lately that feel quite heavy. And notice where they sit in your body. So maybe think back to a time recently when you've said yes, but actually you wonder whether it was the right decision for you. So notice where it sits in your body. Perhaps your shoulders are up a little bit. There might be a tightness in your jaw or a tension in your stomach. Just observe. And step 2 is to breathe and set an intention. So as your water warms, try doing a little box breathing, just simply inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. And just repeating that a few times for as long as is comfortable for you. And as you do that, just repeat silently in your head, I protect my time, I honour my energy. I protect my time, I honour my energy. And as your tea starts to steep, just reflect on this. Whereabouts in your life is a no long overdue? Where in your life is a no long overdue? Perhaps it's a meeting that you don't really need to attend, a friendship that started to drain you, or maybe it's a project that you're not completely aligned with. So I'm curious which one comes up for you. And just get curious as to what it would feel like to release that now. The next step as you sip your tea is to let the warmth remind you that no is not a wall, but it's a doorway to peace, to an authentic self, and to room to really have room for what really matters to you. And then finally, as you finish your cup of tea, just grounding yourself, feeling that warmth of the cup in your hands, and just breathing in, breathing out. And just saying either silently to yourself or out loud if you can, saying no is an act of self-care. I trust myself to choose what's right. Saying no is an act of self-care. I trust myself to choose what's right. And just let that intention steep within you as you finish your tea. I want to just chat for a moment about the emotional weight now of always being available for everything and everyone else. And there's a hidden grief in that overgiving. And I have some coaching clients and people that I work with on my Tea Mind membership, and particularly where they are predominantly earth elements people, we quite often tend to have trouble setting boundaries and are real people pleasers and overgivers, which has a real hidden cost. And that version of yourself finds it really hard to actually get some rest, and creative ideas, your own internal creativity, very rarely get swallowed through. So the mornings that really begin with someone else's priorities instead of your own aren't going to go the way that you want. You weren't meant to be everyone else's yes. And there's a huge difference between being kind and being compliant. Putting these boundaries in place aren't barriers, but rather they're invitations for a deeper kind of presence and for more true relationships, and for you to show up in your life as a whole person rather than just a hollowed out version of yourself. So think of someone in your life who respects your no, and notice how that feels safe. You trust them more, not less. The same is true when you offer your own boundary clearly and calmly. No is not just about protection, but it's about prioritization. Every no is a yes in disguise. And this is something I've really taken to heart over the last year as I've become more and more focused on my business and what it is that we are aiming for and we're achieving. We're really focused on our mission, which is just trying to get as many people as possible using the pause for tea so that they can rebalance and thrive, and spreading that word to as many people as possible. And that means saying no to lots of things that aren't fully in aligned with that purpose, which is hard because there's endless opportunities out there. And I am what I would call a time optimist. I'm not very good with time. I think there's endless time in a day. And left to my own devices, I would say yes to absolutely everything. But I have learned, and I'm learning every single day, that I have to prioritize, and I'm very protective of my time now. I have schedules set up, days when I focus on different things. I batch things in my time as much as possible so that I've got more time to say yes, wholehearted yeses to the things that I really want to do, that I'm really passionate about, and that are going to drive my purpose in life forward. So when I say no to a last minute call, I'm really saying yes to spending time with my kids, for example. And when I say no to a collaboration that doesn't wholly align with my value and my business's values, then I'm really saying yes to a deeper creative focus. And when I say no to scrolling late at night, I am saying yes to a real rest. Have to be honest, this one is a work in progress. I think we all know how tempting it is when you're scrolling late at night. It's quite hard to put that down, but it is something I am working on. So saying no doesn't close your life down, but rather it opens it up. No is spacious, it's wise, and it's freedom. So here's a gentle challenge for you this week. I invite you to choose one no, just one, and start small. Perhaps it's as simple as declining a meeting or cancelling a plan, or simply saying, I need time to think. And then notice, how does it feel in your body afterwards? Perhaps you feel lighter, clearer, more honest. And go back and use the tea routine again if you need more support. It's always there whenever you need it. I just want to thank you for sharing this space with me today. And remember, no is not selfish. No is sacred. And it's how we really come home to ourselves and live aligned with ourselves. So if you found something useful in this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could like, review, or share it with someone who might need to hear this message too. Until next time, pause often, breathe deeply, and steep your days in presence. Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I encourage you to consider one idea that you could take forward into your own life today. If you found this useful, please share so that we can bring more people along on this TeaMind journey with us. And just a little disclaimer to note that the content shared on the TeaMind podcast and web pages are for informational and inspirational purposes only, and are not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your doctor or qualified healthcare professional with any questions that you may have regarding your health or a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast. The host and contributors of the TeaMind podcast disclaim any liability for decisions made based on the information provided. Always consult a professional for your individual needs.